Hello, this is the Marcus Allen Frishman live stream. You're Marcus Allen Frishman, and I'm not.
I am Marcus Allen Frishman, and you're not. Exactly, Archie. Thank
Hello,
you for
today
having me.
I wanted to talk about life in Asia compared to America.
Have at it. Let's do it.
Tell me what difference. Now, we're both similar because we have both lived in Asia. I wasn't just a tourist. I actually lived in Thailand for 2 years in 2002 to 2004. And I must tell you, it's very different living there as opposed to being on holiday there. They are two very, very different things. Would you agree with that?
For most people, but when I live there, it is a holiday. And of course, I've traveled to the Philippines 3 to 4 months a year since 2003, first 5 years having been the liaison from the California government to the national government of the Philippines. And then after that, I got a life. So checked out of the ETSA Shangri-La Hotel and moved into apartments all over Manila, different apartments. And then I bought my own apartment. And then a client bought me a beach condo. So I've had a lot of experience with living there in very long 3 to 4 month stints. But I do move around. I don't stay at my condo. I move into hotels around the Philippines, 7,500 islands. So I can speak to the Philippines more than I can the Asia in general. But what specifically would you like to know? Archie, hold on 1 second. My
Sure.
cooling beverage is on the right side of me. I just have to reach for it.
No worries. Please do that. This is the Archie Luxury stream. Please send your questions via a super chat and we will try and answer them. Tell me this, with the Philippines, it's a unique country in the sense it's a mix of Asian culture and also what other country? It's Brazilian, is it?
Spanish. The Spaniards. And that's why the Filipinos have Spanish names, many of them.
I see.
That's Dela Cruz, names of that genre. A lot of Dells going on there.
So tell me this, with the Philippines itself there, have you been to other parts of Asia?
I have not. I have had trips scheduled while in the Philippines to go to Thailand, Bali, and Hong Kong. And on every occasion, I canceled them.
So you have never, out of all the Asian countries, you have never been to Hong Kong or Singapore?
No.
Malaysia?
No. Although, let me tell you something. In my studies of the world, I think Malaysia is the place to be. Malaysia may be the best place in the world to live if you have the standards and values and need for luxury items that I do. I've looked at that and thought maybe that's where I go. But no, I haven't been there.
No, I must say I've never actually been to the Philippines, but I have been, let me tell you, Asia. I have been Hong Kong, Singapore, Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia.
Oh, yes, I had a trip in Vietnam scheduled. I canceled that.
Indonesia. Okay, there we go. That's 7 countries in Asia I have been to.
You're well traveled. The question goes back to you. Why and how come have you missed the Philippines? They speak English. They are very Americanized in Manila.
Can I say this to you without you being offended?
Well, say it softly, just in case.
The Philippines has a bit of a manga reputation.
Manga?
A bit of a mail order bride, sex tourist type connotation.
And you think that Thailand does not have that equal reputation?
Not as bad.
You may be right about that.
Not as bad.
And probably because the Philippines...
And I've also been fearful of the Philippines. Now, obviously I haven't been there, so I can't say expert status, but armchair, I always felt the Philippines also had a little bit more risk, like danger, than Thailand or other Asian countries.
Well, you're right about both of those things. The
Well,
first
what watch are
choice.
you wearing? Sorry, show me your wrist. Your wrist looks beautiful.
Oh,
What are you
oh yes.
wearing there? Sorry.
Well, I'm
So
wearing the most sought-off watch in the world. Only
yes.
those people that seek this watch seek it in stainless steel. Mine is in 18 karat
Oh,
solid gold. The
beautiful. And I'm
bluesy,
wearing my
bluesy.
world time today. There we go. Oh, that looks
Oh,
absolutely. I
thank
tell
you.
you what, I do actually miss that I had the solid gold bluesy. That was a beautiful watch. Very,
You
very.
know that I offered you $17,000 for that watch when you were selling it for 19, and there's this fabulous video of you reacting to my offer in email that I reposted yesterday at my Facebook, and it's on your Facebook wall. It's where you've gone mad hearing about this
Thank you.
dodgy man in the Philippines and America. Yeah, it was a great
Yeah,
video.
that's okay. It's all water under the bridge. It's water under the bridge, my friend, because I do hold you as a very dear friend now. I will say
Cheers
this.
to that.
I don't handle discounting well. I like to price things fairly.
Right.
I don't handle discounting very well.
I may
And
have told you in the offer that your price was not high, but not within my budget, as to not insult you that you had some high outrageous price. It just wasn't what I was budgeted to do. So I hope you'll understand that.
no. I completely completely understand.
But
Now, my friend, I wanted to say to you, okay, so thank you. We both got beautiful watches on today. Thank you. I got to tell you, I think the funny thing is, what I love about Bangkok. Bangkok has always been to me we got our first super chat, Sir Premium. He sent a £1 super sticker. Thank you,
oh, Sir Premium,
Sir Premium.
my first hero of the night.
I got to tell you, one thing about living in Bangkok I found is that it's an international hub. You had people, Americans, you had all nationalities. I was good friends with a guy who was he was a steward on Air France. I had friends who were American retirees, American business people. Thailand is a hub that attracted a lot of people there. And I must say, I really did enjoy. I don't know whether this is real or false. I just felt more free in Asia than I feel in the Western world.
Oh, yes. Well, we call America the home of the free and the land of the brave. But as I remind my Filipino friends, not so much my American friends, the Philippines is the true land of the free. The America is only the land of the brave. And with regard to your last comment, related to your first question, let me tie into all of that. So one of the things you will observe going to Manila, which does have the chief stereotype of the expat mail order bride status. And one of the reasons I learned to not like to hang around foreigners, meaning Americans, Australians, Europeans, Russians in the Philippines, is that crowd is in fact confirmed. The mail order bride, that is a stereotype word, but it expands beyond truly mail order bride. But you get my point.
I've got a super chat. Mac Lobster, $2. Can you explain what's wrong with Mongo ring? So, firstly, let's just discuss what is Mongo ring. So, just looking up, Mongo ring typically refers to the promotion or encouragement of something, or often something negative or undesirable. Okay. So mongering, something negative or undesirable. The word monger originally referred to a trader or dealer, as in fishmonger, ironmonger. I think what he's referring to is Monger. That's
Okay,
somebody who uses the services of prostitutes.
let me go to let me
Mac
go
Lobster, you know what? There is nothing wrong with consenting adults agreeing to have fun on a transactional basis. It's what the American economy is based on. So I would say explain what's wrong. It's called commerce. Um, yeah, it is what it is. It's free enterprise at its best. Nothing wrong. We got Phoenician seed of $5. Math.
Yes.
Hell, here's a good question. Math.
No, not,
What's
I
your
didn't finish the answer to the last question, but go
sorry?
ahead.
Sorry.
I'd like to go to the mongering, which I think is a broader criticism of this category. One of the reasons I don't hang out in places that are frequented by expats or foreigner vacationers in the Philippines, Westerners really, is I don't like that crowd. I personally have not done transactional relationships with women ever, not my thing. I've also not done casual relationships. So let's be bold and blunt. We're all adults here. I wouldn't have sex with a woman for money, and I wouldn't have casual sex with a woman for free. So that's just me. Getting back to my point, I like Manila because Manila is where foreigners come to and then leave. 7,500 islands. And where do they go? They go to Cebu and Palawan, the two most beautiful places in the Philippines, maybe some of the most beautiful place list in the world. I went there once, and I went there once each, and I will never return. I didn't want to be hanging out with that predominantly male foreigner crowd. They drink too much. They smoke too much. I do neither. And I didn't like it. I never returned. I prefer the island of Boracay. I've been there 64 times. And while people and Filipinos think foreigners go there, the truth is it's for rich Filipinos, it's for poor Filipinos, and it's for Chinese and Koreans who like to frequent. There's very few Westerners there, although Westerners seem to be the merchants. There's a lot of Westerners who have businesses there with in partnership with Filipinos, but you won't see them there. So that I prefer to be where the rich Filipino crowd is, male and female and families, and I don't hang out where you will find vacationers in the Philippines. And Manila is not really a vacation. It's a transitional spot for people to move to other parts of the Philippines. I've mentioned two that I will not return to. I like Davao. I like Canandiora, known as CDO, and again, Boracay and Manila. So I really don't go back a second time to places I don't like.
Fair point. We've got another super chat. Phoenician Cedar, $5. Math, what's your biggest regret in your life, and how much cognitive dissonance did you manifest on a scale of 1 to 10? So, firstly, what's your biggest regret in life besides turning down the position that woman became a chief financial officer of the World Bank? Besides running for president, what's the biggest regret besides taking that BMW and not returning it?
Besides taking the BMW and not returning it, and the becoming chief of staff to the president of the United States and vice president of the World Bank, sure, I have 3 others. They're actually career related, and I regret them. I was a very shy, introverted child and teenager. And I was offered, when I was 11 years old, a contract with the National Federation of Figure Skaters. They approached me at the Topanga Plaza ice skating rink in Woodland Hills, California. And they had a contract. They wanted to talk with my parents, and there was a connection made. They had offered to train me to become an Olympian. They felt I had what it took, and I was doing triple axels. You can look that up in figure skates. When some Olympians, at least one I know, wasn't good at it. So I was a prodigy on ice skates, and I was never formally trained. I learned all myself with the help informally of professionals. And my parents would dump me at the skating rink because I was privately tutored.
This is where you met Marsha Brady, Maureen McCormick.
I met Maureen Brady and Susan there. I'll tell you, I regret not pursuing that, or I would be an Olympian and no doubt have outshined the best of them in figure skating. The second opportunity I had was before that. I was younger, and my father was approached by Paramount Studios with a contract that included a parking spot. I'll never forget that component of it. They wanted to make me a star, a child star, and then an adult star. That's what they did. You know this in our
Mind
age
you,
range.
if you look at how some of the child stars turned out, that may be a
Well,
good
that may
thing.
be. Well, who knows? But the point is, they created stars in our age, and that's how they did it. Sight unseen, almost. Just come with the contract. Let's create the star. We like his look. And if I remember correctly, there was a movie called Maya. They ultimately picked an older boy named Dennis the Menace, and they rewrote that script. And Dennis the Menace, if you know, I'm forgetting the actor who was Dennis the Menace. What was his actual name? The character of Dennis the Menace has an actual name, is an actor. That actor took the movie that I was offered. He was older. They rewrote it, and it was called Maya. And so I would not go to the studio. My father was very upset with me. And then the final regret is also career related, because I, Archie, have never really had goals. I've never really had passion regarding work, career, and income. I just lucked out. But I was offered a committee staff position on the Foreign Relations Committee when I was in my last year of college, because I had worked in Washington, D.C.
Oh, yes.
I didn't take it. And we'd have to look up the chairman of that committee. It was a Republican named, he just took a liking to me. And if you know about committee staff, you don't get a committee staff job until you're somewhat seasoned with a general congressional or senatorial staff position. And I actually didn't have either at that time. He offered that job, and I said, well, I got to get back to USC and finish one more year. I'll be back. And I did apply. And, you know, your chance comes around, and then it doesn't go around a second time.
Thank you so much there. LVAR, $5. Kua Marcus, have you considered running for governor in 2026? Newsom has run California into the ground, and it needs an upstanding leader like you to save it.
This is the wisest man on YouTube today. However, we have to do some adjustments. It would be impossible, due to my politics, to get elected to gog catcher in California. And furthermore, Governor Newsom has become popular here, and he is more popular than ever in just the last few months. Okay. And he has isolated this state from the golden age of Trump because of its size and power. It is the fourth largest economy of the world. Most people don't know that. And it has risen under his leadership from 5 to 6 from those who evaluate this. It has limitless amounts of tax money to collect, although it's massively in debt, run into the ground because they overspend, not because they don't have the money. They have a lot of money, and they can keep doing it. We have a net exit of about 500,000 to 600,000 citizens of California per year. If you add those that come and then subtract, and add the proper numbers, the numbers ranging between 500,000 and 700,000 a year since 2017. We are losing our population, but they love Governor Newsom. I'm sorry to say.
Very, very interesting. That's what I can say there. Very interesting.
Kamala Harris would have easily gotten elected in California. She just withdrew her name from the hope of running because they love her too.
I got to ask you something. Okay, so with Asia, life in Asia compared to America, what difference hits you? What can you say? The big if you had an alien, we spoke about aliens last stream.
Yes, aliens
if you had an alien came down and said, what's the difference between life in Asia and life in America? What would you say?
Well, I couldn't narrow it to one thing, but I could tell you a few things, and I don't know that one's more important than the other. and I have to focus on the Philippines. The hospitality of the people in the Philippines is beyond reproach. There is no one in the world more hospitable, more full of hospitality and love than the Filipino people. Now, you have to sort out the fake love from the real love. And when I'm talking about love, I don't mean intimacy. I'm talking about interactions amongst strangers, interaction amongst professionals. That's a big difference. In America, if you look at someone the wrong way, at least in LA and California, you're going to get a negative comment or a nasty look, or your car keyed. The other day, day before yesterday, I took a parking spot and I thought I was next in line for that spot. But this driver thought he was next in line. I backed out of that spot, Archie. I gave it to him. And then he cursed me out. And I thought to myself, God is on his side because I just gave him that spot, but yet he doesn't appreciate his own existence. And he certainly didn't appreciate me. It was terrible. That would never happen in the Philippines. Terrible. I had to watch my car from the restaurant window.
You would have a driver. You would have a driver in the Philippines.
In the Philippines, I'd have a driver. Exactly. The second thing is when you have a problem in the Philippines of any sort, and I don't really mean personal problem. Maybe you have a flat tire. Maybe your air conditioner goes out. Fill in the blank. Whatever this problem that's affected your life that day, you can ask anyone. Now, I don't have to ask anyone. I just go to my phone, text somebody, and it happens. But you can ask anyone, approach anyone, and you'll have solutions to that problem the same day. Some friend of a sister of a brother of a kuya is going to text you and say, I can help you, sir. And even if he rips you off, it's double what a rich Filipino would pay. It's dirt cheap.
Fair point.
Oh, yeah, I have specific examples. When my water heater in the Philippines is constantly breaking. It is the most expensive water heater money can buy in the Filipino store. Trust me. But it breaks, and it has these moving parts. I can't quite explain it. It's not like our water heaters. Anyway, I have a guy named Chris. He's a water heater repairman. Someone introduced me to him. But the beauty of Chris, wherever he goes, whenever I text him, yes, sir, I'll be there at 3. I'll be there tonight. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I have to come in the morning. That's the longest you'll wait, and my water heater's back to work. And he gets paid 300 pesos for this entire transaction, including the parts, which have to be replaced, some sort of relay thing. And I give him 500 pesos. Which is all of $9 or something.
Yes.
So I pay him way more than his asking price. And that's good old Chris.
Yes. I understand what you're saying.
My driver, I told my driver, I'm going to pay you. When I had a driver for many years, I then decided not to use a driver for certain reasons. I'm going to actually for security reasons. So I'm going to pay you 15,000 was it, and then it raised it to 22,000 per month. You're my driver. Okay. And that's a little more at the time than a rich Filipino would pay a driver. But this guy didn't. He said, when do you need me, sir? I said, daily. And he would show up at 8 in the morning, and they have driver rooms in my residence. Almost every building has driver rooms. And the driver, I would wake up at 10:30 in the morning to a text message. He's been there since 8. And then when he drops me off, typically 10 or 11 o'clock at night, that's my ending of my dinner. He stays there till midnight. I didn't know all of this really, or didn't focus on it for weeks. And then I said, are you staying every day, all these hours? Yes, sir. 1 day off a week, 1 day off a month. No. So I said, I'm going to pay you the same amount of money. You're going to take every weekend off. I've restructured. I'm going to hire another driver or use public transportation, taxis, Grab, which is their Uber. And I'm going to use that on weekends. You're off midday Friday to Monday morning. And he just couldn't.
Did he appreciate that?
"Oh my God, did he?" And I said, "You don't have to arrive at 10:30. I don't wake up till 10:30. I mean, 8 o'clock. I arrive at 10:30. Why don't you just plan on being there by 11:30 or 12? Okay. And then you're going to leave when you drop me off in the evening. If I have to go out again, I'll use a taxi." And so that's the new arrangement. And ultimately, at one point, I did have two drivers. I had a weekend driver, but then I went to public transportation. So yes, you're going to see their dedication to their work. Those are the things that are so different compared to LA or California or United States. You know, I'd be fighting over the 2 10-minute breaks, the hour lunch, and whether or not the medical coverage included the dental insurance or not. I mean, just it would be crazy.
Yeah, no. I get what you're saying there. I must say, when I've been, I lived in Thailand, of course, but when I've been for all parts of Asia, I feel a sense of just easiness. You know, you don't have Western bureaucracy or Western bills. It seems to be so much more relaxed and enjoyable. It's more on your schedule. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
yes. Now, there are some exceptions to their friendly efficiency. I'm going to tell you what it is. The banking in
Yes,
Asia,
sir.
and I think it must be all over the region from what I've read, particularly in the Philippines, is heavily paper-based. And
Yes, they have passbooks still.
passbooks, but it's really, I'm going to give one example, and this the entire Western culture will get. So if I go into my bank, I'm treated, first of all, like a VIP. I don't wait in line. I get taken to a back room. Now, in America, you can have that service, but boy, you have to really have some serious funds in that account for private banking. But in the Philippines, they just self-identify you as somebody who needs to be a VIP. And of course, I reek of VIP, so they pick me fast. And I just go to the desk and I do my transaction. But even at that status, and
In the Philippines, you are classed as a VVVIP. In America, you're just another douchebag.
I'm just another douchebag. But I do have some bucks in the Philippines when I'm traveling. And when I go into the bank and I have to do a transaction, they have me sign multiple pieces of paper with one of my lovely Visconti pens. And in doing these signatures, if they don't match up to the signature card that's on file at that particular branch, because you can't do these transactions at multiple branches, you can only do them at your branch. So when I do the transaction, they say, and they know me, Karen, my banker, Sir Marcus, your signature is off. It doesn't match the card anymore. We're going to have to redo the card before we can let you deposit the money. I don't withdraw cash, I deposit cash. So I have to redo 4 signature cards almost every time I go in to do a deposit, because they won't take a deposit unless the signature matches the card on file. And if it doesn't, you have to do new cards. I mean, it's ridiculous, frankly, but I do it. We have fun with it. But that is, I swear, that's a true story. It happens repeatedly. Even though my signature is actually just my initials math, it's very simple. It hardly changes because I don't use all the letters to my name. So it looks the same to me, but they see the subtleties because they are thorough in the Philippines with signatures. You're going to have to pardon me, Archie. I am having a fan on in my background, a little cool beverage of iced tea, because my air conditioner seems to be suddenly on the fritz. I think it's a capacitor, and I'll be fixing it myself.
I must say that life in Asia itself there. Yeah, I wanted to ask you, I am actually having, I'll be honest with you, I am seriously considering next year going to an Asian country, possibly China, thinking China, Vietnam, or Malaysia, or maybe Thailand for a couple months. 2 months.
Malaysia. Yeah.
You'd pick 2. Yeah. I just wanted to, I've got to have a look at I'm looking into the accommodation costs. But I've got to tell you something,
I think
Marcus.
Vietnam is
Um,
reasonable, but Malaysia's a bit pricey.
yeah, I'm going to have a look into it. Um, I must say to you, Marcus, I'm really not happy in the Western world. I haven't been happy for a while, you know.
I know what you mean, Archie.
And I kind of, it's not, we're not talking mongering. I'm like you. I'm a bit beyond that phase there.
Yeah,
Uh,
mongering. I consider myself a resident of the Philippines. I live in the Philippines. I have a home there, and I have a second home there. A client gave me, which, by the way, we just sold yesterday. So I hope that process will complete. But I think
you sold it. What made you sell it?
it's a strange story on the condo that is not in my name. My client came to me in 2011 and knew that I spent time in the Philippines, and he had fallen in love with a lovely Filipino girl named Marie. My client's name is Blaine, and Marie died in a fire. But before she died in the fire, he had bought a condo in the remotest part of outside Manila called Batangas, outside of a town called Neserbu. Amara Terraza is the name of the development. It is very isolated. There is nothing. There is nothing in that neighborhood. It's on a beach. And he bought it. And he said, I have an assignment for you, Marcus, on your return to the Philippines. I need you to go and verify that Marie really died. I need you to go and do the inventory of the condo. Here's the file with all the beautiful stuff he bought. Custom furniture made, handmade furniture, the best
Oh,
appliances.
he thought, he wasn't sure she died.
Well, you never know, right? He was a smart man. He's a very, very, very wealthy, smart man. I represented him, got him out of trouble. I was in his office for 7 months with my team in San Diego. Anyway, I go to the Philippines and I link up with Marie's brother, Michael, and he takes me to the condo. And we do the full inventory. When she inventoried 12, I'll give you an example, 12 wine glasses, there was like 16. When she inventoried, there was one iron, there was two. Well, that was really the hair dryer, I guess, 2 hair dryers. Everything was more. So I verified. I said, sir, she bought everything and more. So nothing's missing. And then we investigated her death, and I talked with the fire department and her brother and saw the memorial and was verified to my satisfaction. And I came back and he said, I want you to have this condo. I did something. I saved his life. It was a criminal civil problem, and we got him out of it. And he said, I want you to have this condo. And I said, sir, the condo is a lot of money every month. It's a high luxury. I mean, it's right on the beach. And I said, I have a condo already, and I barely stay there even when I'm in the Philippines 3 or 4 months a year. I move around. I'll move around to your condo, but you need the tax deduction. I don't. You need the expense allocations, and your company's paying for it anyway. I proposed he keep paying the bill, and I just live there. We agreed. Partly because he made a condition that if he gave it to me, I could never sell it. It was a memorial to Marie, and I did put a picture. I put a picture and a candle and a rosary under the television. There's a spot for her, and I thought, well, this doesn't make any sense. I'll just vacation there. And as it turned out, because it was so remote, it was peaceful. It's beautiful. I only spent about 4 days every month there. Maybe 5, because I learned never to spend the weekend there. The rich Filipinos converge on the place, and it's just a madhouse. But I'm alone there, completely alone. But for the chef, the waiters, the staff, it's fabulous to visit. It's peaceful. So I do go there. We decided to sell it, and I say we. It was a joint decision, and he will receive most of the proceeds. I will receive a very large percentage. He's being generous. And we just sold it just now. I don't want to ramble on about this, but I have a very interesting ghost story. The condo is haunted by Marie.
Oh, I'd love to hear the ghost story. We're all up for a good ghost story. So,
All
Maria,
right.
how did she die? How old was she? Tell us more about
She was
Maria.
in her. I have a picture. I'd rather not show the picture. She's
No,
in her early 20s, and she died in a fire. It was attributed to a fan with her cousin who died in a small apartment or boarding house in Makati, which is the financial district of the Philippines. She had just finished designing and decorating this condo, but for one thing, the final drapes in the guest bedroom, which ultimately Michael did bring, because I had Michael, her brother, drive me there for the first time. He runs a tour service in the Philippines, so if anybody wants to go, I'll link them to Michael. But Michael, he took me to this condo, and on the way there, this is the ghost story. On the way there, let me digress one moment. My client, Blaine Pollock, has never seen it. Michael hadn't been there since it had been built. I'm the only one in control of it and the owner who has never returned to the Philippines. So we're going there under my authority. Michael's driving me, and we're on the way, and there's a phone call, and it goes to Michael's phone. And it's the staff of the condo, believing Michael's my driver. They say they have had trouble getting into the condo to clean it and prepare it for us. Now, what condo association cleans your condo in America? None. But in the Philippines, that's how it works. So Michael hung up the phone from them and said, they're having trouble getting in the unit. And I said, well, that's interesting. What are they going to do? Well, they're going to take off the doorknob, and then they're going to fix the doorknob and go in and clean it for us. And we're a couple of hours away. It's a long drive, about 3 hours out of Manila. It's not far in miles, it's far in drive. So, but that's the Philippines. So we get there. Now, this is the weird part. There is one main door. It's on the third floor or the second floor. It's one main door into the condo. Once you're in the condo, there is not a window that opens fully. There are these little windows that just open a little, like that. All right? No window opens for anyone to exit or enter. There is a sliding back door, a sliding door on the patio, and the patio is on the second or third. I keep confusing it. It's the third floor, I think. The patio has a jacuzzi on it, and it has a very high rail. And if you go over that rail, you're going to break your neck and kill yourself because it's a deep dive to the ground floor. And these guys are in the condo finishing it up for us and fixing the doorknob that they broke. And I'm looking at the lock. I said, what exactly was locked? They said, sir, this flip lock was locked. We couldn't get in. It was locked from the inside. I said, well, how do you lock it from the inside and be able to leave? There's no way to leave once you've locked the door. And you can't lock the door and get out. And I'm looking around going, well, the windows don't open. You have to go off the third floor balcony to the bottom floor, which, by the way, is a hard landing, unless you have a rope. I mean, who would do this? This is an unoccupied condo. And he says to me, the worker, maybe it was the ghost. Now, I didn't know he meant was serious, but later learned he saw this particular worker saw shadows over time in that unit. They were doing lots of homeowner preparation. They were in the unit a lot. And when the staff left and Michael and I were sitting in that condo, we just kept looking at that door and that lock going, there's no way anyone could have locked that from the inside and left. It's impossible. I did a full search of the place thinking, there could be somebody hiding. This isn't, anything's possible. So we're convinced Marie locked that door. Now, Michael and I stayed 2 days there. It was just in and out fast. We did the inventory and we left. He had to be home to his wife. I had to be home to my girlfriend. And in the middle of the night, we were both woken by the hanging wine glasses that were hanging above the bar, and they were tinkling in the middle of the night. And then the second wake up was when both independent air conditioners shut off for no reason. And we get up and we turn them back on. And then finally, one last up-to-date, I revealed this to the broker, Christina, who is selling my condo. I call it my condo in the Philippines on the beach in Batangas. She relayed in a Zoom call the other day that she was in the condo preparing it to show it to this buyer who already was interested in buying it. And he did buy it. And one of the bedroom doors closed. When she went to the other room, she came back and saw the bedroom door was closed. She looked at the door and said, because she knew, she said, "Marie, please let me sell this condo." And right in front of her eyes, she swears to God, the door opens. No one was there to witness it but her, and she relayed the story to us, and she said she wouldn't be telling the buyer. They don't have those duties in the Philippines like we do here.
I must say, I kind of think if you are good to ghosts or spirits, I think they kind of will appreciate you.
We used to say hello to Marie and greet her and wish her well when we left. And I told the broker, please do that when you go into the condo each time, except when you're showing it. And a very nice person just bought it.
That's very sad she died. What was your client very devastated about hearing of?
One day when he was telling me about her and the condo, we got into the car heading off to lunch. His car, he drove in San Diego. And we just kept driving in circles in the parking lot. I had not realized why, although I asked, why are we going in circles? And I could see, I was insensitive. I could see he was crying. He was so emotionally. He said, she was my soulmate and she's gone. And he never went back to the Philippines. We allowed her. What?
We've got another super chat here. A very nice super chat from Black Cat 997, $5. I am a World War II history buff. What is the reputation of U.S. General Douglas MacArthur in the Philippines today? And just before you go on there, I will tell you, I am in Brisbane. Brisbane was the home of General MacArthur in World War II. He commandeered a place at St. Lucia, which later became the University of Queensland. And General MacArthur base, he had a big base in Brisbane. So tell me, what's the legacy of General MacArthur?
Well, I'll tell you this. I have a beautiful picture of General MacArthur in black and white, and he has his long pipe, and he's standing there looking distinguished. And I have a black and white picture of myself, and I'm holding a Diet Coke with a straw and sucking the straw like this. Mm-hmm. And it's in black and white. And for selected friends, because of security reasons, I post that picture on my departure of the Philippines every time I leave. Not everyone can see it. It's not public, but it is amongst friends.
No, I completely understand.
Yeah, you may have seen it, Archie. But to answer the question, they love, the people that know love Douglas MacArthur. In fact, I have been given to me as a gift from the central bank. I've never posted this anywhere or taken a picture of it. I have in the drawer downstairs near my watches, next to the vault, I have a Douglas MacArthur coin that is legal tender in the Philippines, although I don't know anyone that would use it. And I believe it's gold plated, obviously not solid gold. I was hoping it was, but I would have sold it quick. But it's gold plated. Who knows? It's brass or something. And it's beautiful. It's about the size of an American silver dollar, and it's in a little plastic holder. And they really love him, and his pictures are everywhere, and his statues are around. In 1991, the Philippines was done with America, and they really had. In fact, they've changed their 4th of July. Their Independence Day is the 4th of July, but only in the Philippines would they change it and call their 4th of July, which was the day they signed their independence with Douglas MacArthur. They changed their 4th of July, Independence Day, to American Friendship Day or some nonsense. And they made their Independence Day a fake day that does not exist, that I can see tied to anything. I'm not sure what it's tied to. And they did that in the 90s because they were turning against America. But now we have, with this president and the last one, we've increased our bases to, I believe, 9 bases, at least 9 bases that are publicly known. We have more bases in the Philippines than any place in the world. The relationship between the Philippines and America could not be better. In the early 2000s, the Philippine government had engaged me through the governor of Bulacan to increase investments there and to get them what's called I'm forgetting the State Department's category. It's a preferred status of trade at the time, and they weren't given it, and they weren't going to be given it. My State Department contacts on the Philippines told me, off the record, they believed that president was a criminal component, and they weren't going to help her. In fact, she came to America, the president, GMA, they called her. GMA came to America to meet Barack Obama. She came uninvited. Well, she was invited to America, but not invited to meet Barack. And she went there to meet him and was stood up. He did not meet her. So
wow, he did not meet her.
No,
that's pretty insulting, isn't it?
Well, favored nation status, that was the term. They were not granted it for a few years when she was president, and the American government was...
But wouldn't she get her people to talk to his people and arrange it?
She was invited and she came to America, but she could not get in to see Barack. That doesn't happen. A head of state coming to America and not meeting the president. First of all, the head of state doesn't come to America unless they meet the president. You can send anybody else. Even I got to meet the president of the Philippines, but it was gutsy of her. She's quite a pushy woman. I'll never forget the day that I get back to the Philippines after she's been disgraced, convicted, not gone to jail because she's in a hospital like the past presidents do it with the neck brace. And then suddenly in a room, I'm in an ante room next to the floor of the House of Representatives in the speaker's office, and the speaker's staff didn't even know that she was just about to be elected Speaker of the House of Representatives. I almost fell over. I couldn't believe it. But
we got another super chat. Iva, so LV, Iva, Sarah Durenti for president 2026. Why or why not?
Well, I haven't thought of that. The vice president. This is the daughter of the last president, who is vice president, and I haven't given it any thought. I'm sure there will be better candidates. Let's just put it that way. I did like the previous president. He was a true populist.
Are you an Aquino? Are you a Aquino fan?
No. Well, the first Aquino was elected because her husband was martyred on the tarmac by people of support of the original Ferdinand Marcos. The second Aquino was a very nice gentleman, but I think he was under-equipped to be president. And then Duarte, I believe, became a good president. He was a good. He tried to get rid of the corruption. They couldn't go too far. They would have gotten rid of him, but he went far enough. He did a lot of good things to clean up the ethics and to eliminate, or not eliminate, minimize the oligarchy of the Philippines. He was not part of the oligarchy. He was very similar to Donald Trump in many ways. He was a populist. He was a mayor of Davao. My mistake was not going to visit him when he invited me. Or I regret that. There's another regret. I thought, why do I need to go see this mayor who rides around enforcing drug laws in Davao on a motorcycle? As it turned out, I eventually went to Davao regularly, although he was no longer the mayor there. He was president, and I never did meet him.
Wow, interesting story.
But Miss Marcos and I had lunch regularly. She called me the little George Hamilton.
The Miss who? Miss who?
Imelda Marcos, the former First Lady of the Philippines, is my lunchmate there and has
Oh,
been.
you know Imelda Marcos.
If you check my Facebook, Archie, in the public pictures,
Yes.
you'll see pictures of us together.
She's quite. I've heard she's very charming.
Okay, she is fabulous. The first day I met her.
See, I don't think it's fair. Like everyone has a go. She had so many shoes, thousands and thousands of shoes.
You know
But
what
the
she told me
reality is,
about
sorry,
the shoes? She told me something about the shoes in the closet. I'll never
the
forget
shoes.
it. She
the-
said,
the
Marcus.
Yes.
She said, Marcus, they went into my closet looking for skeletons, but they found shoes. I swear that comes from her. She was wonderful. She has some difficulty. I talked with her and was invited to the presidential inaugural. But she has not, I have not spoken with her since, and I've not seen her in a few years. And she is of ill health, and I don't know what status. All I know is the number no longer works. I have the cell number and the home office number. And the woman, I can't reach the woman who is her assistant. I never met her son in all the years we were going to lunch. At some point, her son was a congressman. She became a congresswoman, but she never went to the office. She just stayed at her apartment and went to lunch with people. And I don't mean to, that may not be fully true.
Was she as whether Marcos is as bad as people say, or how do you feel about them?
Well, she took me through her book of life and then gave me the book. I have it signed in the other room if you wanted me to get it right now. She took me through a scrapbook and it covered all the accusations. They stole the gold. They did this. They did that. And she just maintained she didn't do any of that. And she was innocent. She said she told the Philippine government she would release the $800 million or 700 that she controlled. There was a bank account she controlled. She would, and they were litigating. She said she will close the bank account and release the funds to the Philippine government if they would distribute the money to every Filipino over 21. Philippine government rejected her offer, and then they won the case. They got the money, and auditors at the Audit Bureau of the Philippines, it's a national entity, forgetting the exact name, can't find the money. So one last Imelda story. So I'm in her apartment at some point, the one in Makati. It's a fairly small apartment, and it has I've seen it actually recently in old videos, although I was there in the room itself. And it's one giant room, floor-to-ceiling pictures, Archie, floor-to-ceiling pictures. On the piano, pictures, from one end to the next. It's just of Imelda. I went around the room with her. It took maybe 20 minutes. And she's talking about, how she almost stabbed the Australian ambassador's, whoever he was, in the chest with a knife. And she had a story about it. She's at dinner with him and she's going to stab him with the knife, but she didn't. I think it was supposed to be a funny story, but it was the Australian ambassador. And she went on and on. But at the end of this circle walk around her room, I said to her, Miss Marcos, may I ask a question? And she says, please do. I said, in every one of these pictures is you and very important people in the world on the red carpet, at tables. That's what it was, Archie. You can imagine those pictures. But there's not one photo except for this bust here. And the one is a bust of her husband and a picture of her and her husband above the bust. There's not a single photo of any picture with your husband and you and these important people. And she paused a long time and she looked up. I remember that look. And she said finally, I was like the Secretary of State. You wouldn't see the president in a picture with the Secretary of State in America, would you? I said, I guess not. If you were in his office or his home, no. He would be pictured with all of the dignitaries alone. And that was my job. And that's what I did. And I said, that's a good answer. Okay. It was a little strange to me. They were red carpet pictures and tables at dinners. And it was her and these important people. They are, you can imagine, world leaders, and movie stars.
Amazing story there, Math, it's nearly time to wrap this baby up. I want to thank our super chatters there. We had Sir Premium, Mac Lobster, Phoenician Cedar, Iva, Black Cat 997, and Iva again. Very enjoyable having you on today. It was great to reminisce about Asia. Are you going back? Are you going back?
Well, I have a ticket that a very expensive business class ticket. It approaches $5,000, and I bought it unrestricted because of the COVID rules. And then I even insisted on paying for the unrestricted fee so that they couldn't change their mind later. And it gets renewed every year. It's the first Sunday in March is my departure, with a return in June, and I move it. I have not returned to the Philippines because I have no reason to. And in all these years, from 2003 to 2020 or whatever year it was, I stopped. I had a reason to go back, and I don't anymore. I have a condo there, but I may return. Obviously, I will, but not right now.
Fabulous journey there. I think you would have many fun in the Philippines there, Marcus. But I understand you've got your life here and you've got your work. And how is the consulting
and don't
working?
forget, I have. Hold on. Well, let's end with some pictures. I have some pictures from Miss Winkle, who is in Florida. She's actually back in Manila. And here are. I think I can show these. I better not show that one. I think I can show this one. So here is the lovely Miss Winkle. Oh, I'm sorry about this, Archie. How do we do this? Here is the lovely Miss Winkle. Do we want to go that way? That way? There's the lovely Miss Winkle. There she is on the cruise ship in Florida. Wow. And of course, next to me is the it's the standard picture that we use.
That's beautiful.
Look, Miss Winkle is in the Philippines on vacation. She just alerted me of that in this email that she sent, and she added a picture in the email that I don't particularly like. I think because she hold on a second, Archie. Let's just show it. Here it is. Okay, so this, if you look closely, you'll see the date of the email, and you'll see her saying what she says. Math, let me read it. Hi, Math, I'm back in. Oh boy. Hi, Math, I'm back in the. Can you read it? Hi,
in the
Math,
Philippines.
I'm back in the Philippines. At the top, you'll see it, and then she sends a picture that I'm not particularly fond of, but there she is.
Okay. I
like her smile because. The braces have been on since 2017.
Fantastic.
Figure out why.
That's absolutely fantastic. Math, thank you so much. We'll see you next week. More stories, more legends. I really enjoyed talking to you.
Thank you, Archie. I enjoyed it. And I will read every comment people made. Yeah, thank you.
See you later.
Hi guys, it's Archie Luxury. Guys, I want to talk to you about David SW. David SW. Guys, if you are in America, if you are looking for a Rolex watch of your dreams, in fact, if you're looking for a contemporary modern wristwatch, I strongly advise you to look at David SW. Guys, don't play the dealer games. Don't bring in chocolates or Krispy Kremes for your dealer hoping to get a Rolex at retail. It's futile. Please, guys, save your dignity. Keep some pride. Go to David SW. I would highly recommend David SW. If you're in America and you're looking for a watch, go to David SW, David SW, David SW.